Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome back to another episode of my Project Runway chats. That tonight I have the honor of having a special guest, Prajje. He's a designer on season 20 of Project Runway, and I'm so excited to talk to him tonight. Actually, he just joined, so we're going to jump into this really quickly because we're not trying to keep y'all here all Friday night, but we're going to give you some fun to send you into your Friday night, okay? So let me add Prajje. 1 second. Hi, everybody. As you're coming in, I'm so glad to see you all. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.
Baby,
Prajje!
how are you? I'm doing
How are
good with you
you?
here.
Good. Let me turn up my volume so I can just hear you a little bit better. I just want to say hello to
Hi,
all the people who are
everyone.
joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
It's Friday night. You could be anywhere, but you're here with us, and we're happy about that. You know what? I don't even have my water, but because I was like, oh my God, it's 6 o'clock. I gotta hurry up. I gotta get
Oh,
this started. But what you drinking over
one
there,
of our sponsors
Prajje?
just sent us these drinks, and they're really good. They
Mm.
like different flavors, and I just throw them in the fridge. So now we have them when people come here. We give it to clients, or decide to drink on a Friday after we're done work.
I love that.
Yes,
Are
I
you in your
am
design studio right
actually
now?
in the atelier. It's a bit of a mess on this side.
Yes. So, all right, you all, you getting to see
That's
a
the
peek
atelier
inside of his
side, and then
atelier.
here is the
Yes,
showroom. We
I
get out
love
of.
it. It looks beautiful. It
Yes, we
looks
have an
like
exhibit
art.
right now happening. If people watch last episode for the 90s challenge, the 43. So this is a
Mhm.
43 exhibit. Every year I do it around the same July time when the president was assassinated. And also what I've done over
Mhm.
is translated into kind of like a all justice piece. So there's George Floyd's name here, a lot of people that got,
Mhm.
killed by gun violence. Of course, the corner of the president, there's a whole
Mhm.
corner of, candles and stuff there. So it's an exhibit that's also merchandising for the store because the collection itself that I did when I came back from Prajje Runway was 90s inspired, but Basquiat really focused on the tagline "Same old," which was kind of for me, it's the same old bullshit every
Mhm.
day. So yeah. So now they live here.
Okay, got you, got you. All right, for everyone who is asking, because I already know that people come in and we want to answer some of your questions today. So what I'm going to ask you to do, instead of posting it in the chat,
Uh-huh.
you see that question box right to the right of the comment box? If you could tap on that, put any question that you have for us tonight. If you have a question for me, if you have a question for both of us, if you have a question for Prajje, put it in that question box and we will answer your question, because the way that the comments in and people are coming
Yeah.
in, we're going to lose your question. We don't want you to feel like, oh my gosh, you're just not answering my question. And the thing is, we just don't see it. Okay, so any questions you have tonight, please put it in the question box. Okay, with that said, Prajje, I love that, you already were just talking about the exhibit that you do and how that pays homage to where you come from and certain social things that have happened in your country. And I feel like last night's episode, it spoke about some of the history of the designers, but also just the history
Mm.
of the world, right? And I found it interesting checking some of the uh, Project Runway Facebook fan groups. A lot of people, their ruffles
Get
get
muffled.
feathered.
Yeah.
Their feathers get ruffled. Excuse me. Whenever someone of Black origin has to say anything about their culture, and it really kind of blows my mind that it's like, oh, get over it, why does it have to be about this, and da da
It's
da da da
always
da, and it's
that.
like,
In
but
my season 19, that was my entire season 19. Even
mm-hmm,
while I was taping this show, I was receiving hate mail from season
mm-hmm,
19. While literally
Wow.
when we did have the time to check to do work, I would go onto my business database and I would find emails. They were hit mails. And I have them. I saved them all. One day I'm gonna make a huge painting with that to just show America how America is. Because the moment you speak
Mm-hmm.
of anyone that does not look like the norm, there's a problem. Or you're complaining, or you're bitchy, or you're angry. And I watched that episode, and yeah, I'm gonna say something about it. I never said anything because I mind my business nowadays. But the whole thing with Anna wasn't about
Mm-hmm.
Anna. We never made any comment to Anna. The comments were never directed at Anna. Production did a great job editing. That's what I'm going to say. But we made it very clear who we were frustrated at. And then you see that's how they play
Mm-hmm.
it on camera, and then people are coming at Cartel the way they were coming at them. It's as if like this is not a human being. Like that's not what she said. We all said it. Everyone of the cast
Mm-hmm.
was in agreement of what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. The only two people that was still on set
Mm-hmm.
was Anna and Brittany. They know that what that means. So
Mm-hmm.
when you don't play that
Mm-hmm.
way, so you find yourself in this kind of bubble of always fighting for just to be black.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they don't like me.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I literally today had to post, I felt compelled to post something in one of the Project Runway fan groups in support of Kato, because I was like, okay, we are now 2 weeks removed from this, and you guys are still acting like she is the worst person in the whole world. And I'm like, let's stop it. Oh, she has such an attitude. I was like, first of all, y'all do realize this is a competition, right? It's a
uh,
competition. It's not a family reunion. It's a competition. People are there to win the prizes. So if they feel like something is wrong within
yeah.
the competition, I'm going to speak on it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that I am against this person, I hate this person, or anything of
Why
that
did she
sort,
apologize
but
though?
I'm going to speak
Again,
up.
the power of editing. There was nothing to apologize because we spoke to Anna that day on set. We told her exactly what time it is. Everyone. The part that didn't show you was that conversation that happened there. I had my own conversation with Anna where I actually pulled her aside and said, and then laid down and be like, I
Mhm,
love you to death. I understand. I know something is not right because this is happening. But as a
mhm.
competitor in here, it doesn't make sense to me why we sing the same thing twice. And then look at last night. They had a note for Bishme with his sleeves. So you tell me you didn't see the same dress 3 times, but you
Yep.
have a note for Bishme sleeves. That's the bullshit that I'm trying to have people to understand. This is a TV show. You are literally watching
Mhm.
2 minutes, the most, out of something that took like hours to say. That do you honestly think that's what really happened? Like, and then what blows my mind the most is when people are to the same thing you're saying. It's when people go, oh my God, they're so dramatic, so much of the drama. I'm here to see clothes. Those shows on Bravo. They flip tables and throw bottles at each other in those shows. Like, are you serious? That's like you go to MTV
Oh
Cribs.
my gosh.
Like,
I don't want to, I'm sorry if I messed up your name, but my I know it says Majin Wong. I know he was on Project Runway too. He said they always do that and don't have no clue about the behind the scenes. Exactly. You all, I look, I'm not saying that
yeah,
every designer is a saint. I'm not saying that at all. But I think you all need to stop holding um you have to remember that it's a competition, one, and two, you have to remember that this is editing out
hours
of
and
thousands of
hours.
hours of footage, hours and hours, right? So you may be seeing a skewed representation, and there's going to be a lot of
Yeah,
pieces that are left out. And I think just knowing Kato's heart and her passion for design, I just don't like seeing
yeah.
her
And
like
I
attacked
told her we
how
had a
she is.
conversation when the episode aired. I said, just so you know, unfortunately, Auntie, I call her Auntie, this is gonna follow you for the next year. Because while we were taping, I was receiving hit mail for episode 2 of season 19. The moment that the show is up, some middle America person see it and they feel like they wanna tell you how you should be, they will. Every time. Every time. It doesn't end. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't end to
Mm-hmm.
this week, next week. It's not going to end. Those people exist. They are there. That's the reason why I stay black all day, every day,
Mm-hmm.
on the clock with no breaks.
Okay, someone said, okay, I'm old, so I just want to say I agree with you absolutely. These old pearl clutchers get on my last nerves. You know I don't allow that in my group.
Thank you
Amen.
for that.
Kato said early on that her lifestyle does not reflect her success on the show. She has a lot on the line. Okay,
I don't
I'm
get
not.
it
I'm
either.
not really understanding that comment. I've been watching since season 1. Majin says they used to wear me. I worked on Project Runway season 6 and helped Christian Siriano win. Oh, you did? How did you help him win, Queen Nzinga?
I
I would
want that tea.
love that tea, honey. Okay. I live for episode 2, honey.
Oh,
Stacy
me too.
said. We love you and
Eh,
Kato.
eh.
That's awesome. All right. So, how did you feel? With that said, we're gonna move on from that because we didn't
Mm-hmm.
already said our piece about that. Okay. I'm glad you spoke on the whole thing. Sorry, y'all, I have my little allergies with my eyes again today. I'm glad you spoke on the piece with Anna. I even spoke to Anna via DM. She's really sweet. I was upset I didn't get to work with her because I feel like she has some out there
Mm-hmm.
designs, and I would have loved to see what she would have done on my body. But we hope to work together sometime in the future. Actually, I'm probably going to need to interview her
Yeah.
too because we just got to like
I
get
think
it
it's
all
getting
out
to the
there. You
source
know
to
what I
get the
mean?
right information because we know what we can't say, but at the same time, we're not gonna stand up for bullshit either. Like if we know it's not right, it's not right. And I know we love her. We were partying in Anna's room every night. That same night, bro.
Mm, okay. Wait a minute. Queen and Zinga said, I used to do makeup for the show and they fired me because I was too
I've heard
black.
that. I've heard many of those stories, and then that's kind of
Interesting.
again when you live in that environment, and that I felt like somebody said to me earlier today, 4 challenges out of 6, you haven't won anything. I mean, I'm not going to there and ask them why, but I do claim challenge too. I should have won. When you're telling me that we both have excellent work, but the only reason why he's winning is because he's whimsical, it's bullshit to me. My country, when you see a shooting star, chances are somebody's dying. That's how it goes. It's not like this fairy tale the prince is coming, but doesn't mean it's not my
Mm-hmm.
whimsical. And my where I come from, if you see a mermaid, it's not a fairy tale thing, it's a spiritual thing. So you telling me that she's wearing because it's whimsical, so what's your definition of whimsical? I live in your world, so obviously I'm never gonna give you that because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not from this world. So but if it's a competition when we're creating badass work, and if we're both studying there, why can't the art be whimsical today? What I change the artist? And I stand behind that, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why that's to that. It's just like we always have to constantly staying fighting to be black.
Oh my God. I just think we need to, it's like when I watch documentaries on other designers or other design shows, I I love finding out, oh, I come from a family of
Mm-hmm.
Polish origin or Italian origin. And in our family, this happened or that happened, or I come from a Jewish family in the Holocaust. You know what I mean? I don't have any issue finding out the history and what makes these designers
Mm-hmm.
create, what inspires them. And I think that everyone out there, we have to keep a certain level of a
Mm-hmm.
open heart and mind so we can really embrace and understand a lot
Yeah,
of the art that we see. There's so many different designers out there, and they really do take in their upbringing and their
that they
heritage to
do.
create the
One of my
designs
favorite
that we
Project
see.
Runways All Stars
Okay.
is the All Star, where they had all the winners and they were like coming from Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
Canada. I didn't even know there was those All Stars like different country, and I was just like, wow, it was so amazing to just hear them like their story on their Project Runway. It was so amazing, and I'm like, there's room for that,
Mm-hmm.
bro. It's TV.
Yes, yes,
Huh?
yes, yes, yes. All right, let's how did you feel
I
about your
loved my
design lesson?
design. I have to say, guys, the part that you did not see was the level of uncomfortableness I was. Listen, I am Haitian. As much as I am bold, I am in your face, and you cannot miss me. There is a level of kind of like, I know this would not cut it. With my grandmother was sitting in the room, so we're not going to do it. That's how I grew up. That's our culture. There is that it's not reserved, but I'm trying to find the right word. I can't get it right now. So there was that little thing there, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, Prajje, what is wrong with you? Why would you pick the jockstrap out of everything to do? And now you have this naked man standing in front of you with his ding dong, and like you have to fit him in this jockstrap. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so annoying. That's why I switched. I loved it. I loved the whole thing. When I came back in February for this streetwear collection here, there are a lot of kilts, a lot of corsets, a lot of underwear with the same name, pants with the same way. I was so inspired by that. And I came back and I did a whole 90s collection, and then a lot of those pieces were in there. I loved it. I even wore a corset for the premiere party myself.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
it was as much as I had fun doing it, but I started like, yes, I'm gonna have some drama on the road with some butt cheeks, and I was just like,
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm going to say this. I will say my two favorites from last night were Karasan and Rami. I just felt like, and I will say it's probably because I would probably wear both of those. They just fit my style and my aesthetic. So I really, really loved it. But my question was, why was this challenge kicking y'all tails? Because when I say it was like
it was
a
the
lot
time.
of the designers were all like, okay, I gotta switch this up, or I know it's a 1-day challenge, so that's already a lot. But what was it about, particularly about this challenge, that really just got you all in a tizzy?
Of what we wanted to do, we went for it, and then not realizing some pieces may not work because of the time. Like in any other time, it probably would have worked, but we did not calculate the time, and or whatever reason it was. And then we got to the workroom. We worked all day on that original idea, and then to come back at the end and realize, like, oh shit, what people need, I would say this. I'm sorry if I get in trouble, guys. What you need to realize, most of that work you saw on that runway last night really happened in the last 6 hours for almost everyone. We all had to change our look at some point. That jacket was done within 4 hours. Like, you don't understand, guys. It is not that simple.
Yeah, it's a lot of work that you all are doing. And I continue to tell people, you all have to understand, this is no telephone, no TV, no music, no magazines, no books.
The
like
only two
none
things
of
is your
it.
microphone and that camera. It's always there. I had many nightmares that the camera was choking me. I jumped out of my bed one day because I felt like there was a camera on my bed with a camera in my face. And I literally jumped. I had a nightmare. Like, that's how intense it is.
Wow. All right. Gracie Jones said, I'm confused why the Black designers thus far who have won the challenge didn't win money. I'll say this. It could be they just didn't win on a challenge that the money was already allocated to. They could have already set it up before the season started for these certain challenges. It's going to be, you win 10,000 for this, because that episode may have been sponsored by a certain sponsor who was putting up that money. So you never know.
I have to say, I do agree with your perspective on it. However, being a Black man in the competition, winning, being on the top with the Black folks, and then when you see the first person is a lighter color, they won. The second person is a lighter color, they won. And then they group nothing. The next person, they won. And then the next Black person, group nothing. It's starting to look like a pattern. Even if I do get what you're saying that they were sponsored, that's the reason why you should have spread it out more, where there is not a pattern starting already. You're telling me you out of 6 challenges, 4 people that won got a prize, and the 2 that's Black didn't get one? That's not odd to you? I'm sorry. I don't think anyone is not gonna see it that way. Again, these are all the things that transpired to that day.
I'm sure there's a lot we don't know. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and say maybe it was already set up before. So I'm gonna stick to that. But I thank you for offering another point of view,
because I didn't see it that way. And perhaps maybe that's what it was, and that's very normal that it would be. But when you're black and you're in there, you're competing and you hear this money. The first thing I was like, it's not 10 grand. I'm paying the rent for all. She said $100, bro. Come on, we talking about $10,000 and $100. Bitch, me could have give Lawrence $100. Bitch, me never use all his budget. I always go to him for extra money. Like, come on, bro.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, it's nice to know that you all would sometimes pool or hey, you need some extra money. Here, you can take some of my design money. That's family. I love that.
As soon as we walked to the room and we saw who was in there, there was a level of respect. We know everyone in this room is a legend. There is them trying to be this person, that person. No, Bishop is right next to you. You might want to sit down. Lawrence is right next to you. You might want to sit down. There was a person in there for whatever the artistry was that was a great added. So we all went and we're like, all right, well, if it's us in this room, there has to be a reason. Let's just respect each other. And from that, it built into this system of support where even Christian will walk in there. She's like, you guys are sharing stuff. I'm like, if I give him a button, it's not gonna make me win or lose. He needs a button. Like, what do you mean? So there was that kind of built in there. And one thing for me, I posted that last time on my last post. I shared a table with Laurence just so I could learn from Laurence. The way Laurence is incredible.
Wow.
And when I saw the work she was doing, every challenge, I'm like, nope, we're sitting right next to each other. I need to see. I was literally learning from her. It was one of those situations. And then it went back and forth. And sometimes you will see that we're helping each other with work. It's not like we're helping each other with work. We just know that zippers may not be your thing. I'm great at it. Like, the competition is on the runway. It's always been that. It was always on the runway. We make our clothes, we work, we produce something, and we let the judge decide. But whatever happened in that room, in at home, and everything else, we knew we were badass. So there was no need for the cutthroat. So it really wasn't.
I love that. I love that. It's nice to know that although it was a competition, you all still had respect for each other, and that you said, I respect you so much that I want to sit beside you and just see how you're working and see how you're doing. I want to learn this from you. And I think it's always great to have a certain level of humility, to stay a sponge and be able to stay open to learning from other people. I think that's how you continue to work and show up and grow and evolve.
It was
I think
incredible.
That is so
that
important.
part there, it was incredible. I'm so honored to have been into that cast. I don't know what any other cast would be like, but I know this one was special. It truly was. Yeah.
Okay. Everybody who's watching, this is what I need you to do. I need you to do me a quick favor. That arrow button at the end, I need you to take it and send it to anywhere from like 5 to 10 people. Hey, y'all should listen to this chat. You may think Liris is cute. You may think Prajje is cute. You might want to hear about some fashion. You might want to get some tea. You might just be bored at home and you want to be a little entertained. So I need you to hit that arrow button and send it to about 5 to 10 people. It costs you nothing. Okay? All right. So next, Soleil said, I love the representation of us last night. I agree. That's my model daughter. Shout out to her. I completely agree. Big up Prajje. Keep up the great chat, Liris. Thank you. Our family were the founders of the Black is Beautiful movement in the 60s. All right. Somebody said, okay, Soleil said, I want to see your jacket because I already know it was hot. Okay. Hold on. Let me just wave and say hello to some more of these people. Let's jump into some of the questions I have in the box. Oh, wait a minute. Someone said, right, I don't think that it has to do with being Black and winning money. Okay. That's why, look, this is why I said it's good to give a different point of view. And I was given a different point of view. And he was given a different point of view. Truthfully, we'll probably never know. Yes. Let me see. Just waiting for him. Hey, Robin. I see Miss Robin V is in the building. Thank you for joining. Laurence is
Oh,
a
yes.
beast with leather.
Oh
Yes,
my
she is.
God.
Um, what do you feel like what do you feel like will be the next big thing in fashion X
I
Tia
don't
Kim?
know. I honestly don't know because I'm not just came from a show. We had to do this all the time. Somebody had to tell us what's next in fashion. So, but I do feel like there's a great sense of
Mhm.
self-awareness that's happening in fashion where people are actually buying cautiously. They also dressing the way they want to be dressed, not really following a norm per se. So I think that's a major trend of personalities that's gonna just erupt on the street. We can see it happening already with the '90s kind of vibe happening right now. I think it's just gonna get bigger.
I can agree. I can completely agree. Let's hit our question box. As I said, if you have any questions, hit that question box to the right of the comment box, and we will answer your questions. All right. Let me see if this will let me. No badges are on, but you can't show them on the screen. Okay. So BK Cindy said, "Is your family
My family,
supportive
oh
of
yeah,
your
my
art?"
family are my biggest cheerleaders. I don't think I would have made it in life if it wasn't for my family. But a side note, your version of what family
Mm-hmm.
might be different than mine. My family is not just blood relative. That family I'm talking about speaks of people who are also not blood relative. Most people know that I'm adopted, so there is that
Mm-hmm.
there. And then I do have members of my biological family, and I do have great, incredible friends that I had for many, many, many years who have supported me throughout. And yes, they're my biggest cheerleaders. Like, fact, if it wasn't for them, this probably wouldn't happen. That I have to say.
Okay. Okay. The next question I have is from Mary Rose underscore Mr. So I guess it's Mr. Mary Rose. Hey Papa, what has been your
Oh my
favorite
God, the
challenge so
unconventional challenge, and
far?
I don't ever think I would have said this. I got kicked off in my season of unconventional, but when they took me to Afro Shorts, I was just like, oh, say less, bro. Say less. That was my favorite. It was the
Mm-hmm.
transformation of all these different things into this wearable art piece that was so cool. And yeah, that was my favorite. Yeah.
I I think you really shined for
Yeah.
that unconventional challenge because you really got to be a kid and
Yeah.
play and do your art. You brought art. I already
Yeah.
feel like fashion is art, but you really brought that other
Yeah.
side of your art
That's
background
exactly how
to
I
your
felt.
fashion game. And it
Yeah.
was like, I would rock that outfit. Like, I was like, where's my Doc Martens? Let's get this popping. Like, I really,
Yeah.
really love that outfit.
Oh,
And my girl Jessica brought it to life. She has been slaying
oh,
it this
it was
season. I'm so
amazing.
proud
That
of
was
her.
definitely, I didn't have a childhood. I didn't have one. It just put it in simplest way. So it was that moment to just be a kid in a mature way. I have to create something. I get to create whatever I want. What? It was a wrap. It was
Hmm.
definitely a wrap.
Hmm.
And I think that's the whole season for me.
Yeah,
Like
you did
I
that.
enjoy doing all the challenges because it was for me going in there not trying to prove that I'm a designer because like I said, the moment we're in that room, we knew there was a reason why we're here. This is not a casted thing. This is about invitation only situation happening here. So we knew. So I
Hmm.
wanted to push. I wanted to learn. I wanted to push and see what comes out of me. And that's what my season was. And that's what I did every one of them.
Love it. Love it. Shout out to Eric West. I see you in the building. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate you always. Let's get some more questions going. I think this is a good question. I happen to catch this one. Gracie asked, "How was it seeing
You
Sergio
know,
Hudson?"
that's my next post. I really did we all got emotional. It was just like, and then he was
Mhm.
very much, again, it's not like you need it, but to hear it from him, he, I remember he said, I know you guys are nervous right now to some sort, da 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 da, but I know, hope you guys understand I'm standing on your shoulder. He was talking to Cartel. When he said that, oh my God, like, to hear it from him to
Mm-hmm.
say something like that to someone like Cartel and about the carousel and everybody that was on the stage, I was like, this is the first lady of the first black, president's wife, like designer, like literally saying that I stand on your shoulders. It was mind blowing. It was amazing. It was so amazing. Last night was a very,
Mm-hmm.
very, very good episode. And it showed throughout. Even the, we struggle, but you can see we were still struggling with a smile.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, we got a whole bunch more questions. Let me get to it. All right. Stacy Elevated said, Dee Dee seemed uncomfortable with the red outfit challenge. Was I seeing
I
something
don't
wrong?
know. Usually, listen, again,
Usually, I feel like Dee Dee is
whatever
going to
it is,
work
and if
out
it's
whatever's going to
that
need to be
bad,
worked out.
she would express it, and the designer would have made the changes. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we had any models. Our models, you guys are so cool. You guys don't understand. These models, when they walk into the room, we are waiting for them. It's like a breath of fresh air, a new face. We haven't seen people for weeks.
Oh.
They walk in. These are our only friends. I'm dead serious. We're
Oh
all
my
excited to
God.
see you guys when you walk into the room. Guys.
Oh, God. He's like, I'm just serious. But this is why I try to tell
Oh
people
my
it is
God.
really a pressure cooker for you all, for the designers, because I'm telling you, it's just they're around their fellow designers and the camera people for days upon days upon days, weeks. And like I said, no TV, no magazines, no books, no music, no
You and your
nothing.
thoughts.
Look, that's
It is a lot.
that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. All right, let's answer another question. Stacy Elevated had another question. How does he feel in retrospect about the episode she
Who?
left? Who is she?
Are you talking about
Who is
Esther?
she? So, Stacy, if you're still here, re-ask that same question, but put it in the question box for me, please. Um,
What
Cleo
that then?
Petunia
Clear
said,
Petunia.
for both of you, this question is for the both of us. What fashion trends from the past would you like to see come back? Much love to you both.
You know what? Considering the fact that this is my brand, we are more retro chic. I would love to see the Dior new
Mm-hmm.
look come back. Pencil skirts and tiny waist and peplums and huge fucking hats. Let's bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take it all the way back to the 40s.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I would love that too, because anything that's going to snatch this waist together, honey, and show all these hips,
Baby, the
I am all
hourglass is
for it, Tony.
back. With
Yes,
one consent.
yes. I would say I like that. I'm really loving the sheer moments right now, but if it's
Mm-hmm.
done in a very tasty
Mm-hmm.
way, I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. So um so what was I gonna say? So let me see what else. Cutouts. I do love cutouts. I've been seeing that a bit,
Mm-hmm.
like shoulder cutouts, side cutouts. But I like when it's done in a very, like
Yeah.
when it's done tastefully. It, I'm a Libra, so my thing is always balance, and everything is pretty much
Yeah.
good in moderation. If a split is too
The
high,
whole
it could
look.
throw
Yeah.
off the whole look of the outfit. You can go from slay queen to harlot or whore.
Streetwalker.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just from a few inches in a split. So everything in moderation. What other things? You know what I also loved? And it's funny because we've seen this quite a bit on the show as of late. Because I think Anna did it and Hester did it. I love a
Mm.
bell bottom.
Yeah.
I
They
love a
tried
bell
to make a
bottom.
comeback. It didn't survive
Um,
though.
I No, it
A
didn't.
little
It made
tiny
like a
bit.
mini
Like
comeback. And I think if you rock it right now, you have to like have that like attitude to like really pull it off because
Yeah.
it's not a thing that's like
I
really in
think
season right now. But I still have a pair of bell-bottom jeans, and I wore them some weeks ago before it got too hot,
I have a pair
and I
too, but
slayed
I
it.
would say out of all the pair style, I think I was signed to leave bell bottoms out of it. It's just like I am way too tall, my legs
Mhm.
are way too skinny. I start looking like a whole cartoon caricature. It's a whole different thing. I don't want it.
Oh my gosh. Oh
I
my
don't
gosh.
want it. But I love
All
your good
right.
white leg. Mm.
Love you. I do love a wide leg. The cut
Mm-hmm.
of it has to
Yeah.
be right
Mm-hmm.
because it has to hang. Because sometimes somebody will make a wide leg, but it's so billowy. And for me, especially being tall, like a lot of people say, well, you're tall and hourglassy. You can wear anything. And it's like, no,
Has to
the
be, yeah.
proportions still have to be right. So, and I like to look my size, not any bigger. So my thing is the proportion of the pant has to be cut right. So I'll even go and get some of my stuff tailored and taken in. If I
Mm-hmm.
buy, because I buy a lot of stuff off the rack. Whether it's I got to bring this waist in because it fits on my booty, but it has a space around the waist, or do I need to let out the hem to give it
Mm-hmm.
a little extra inch or two because I am 5'11"? You know, these are the things that you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to play with fashion. And speaking of that, this is why you should get my book. It's called Make the World Your Runway: Top Model Secrets for Everyday Confidence and Success. It's available on Amazon. And the foreword is written by Tim Gunn, formerly of Project Runway, now on Making the Cut. And right now I have it on sale for $17.99. It's usually $20. But if you go to Amazon and you put in my name, Liris Cross, as you see, Liris, last name Crosse, or just put in Make the World Your Runway,
I'm
you will be
getting
able to find
one.
this book. It is, I take modeling stories of things over my modeling career and I expound upon it in the way that a life
Oh.
coach would. Um, I speak about, because a lot of people from my season of season 16, they were just like, Liris, you just have so much confidence. I love seeing you on the runway. I wish I had your confidence. I'm like, well, baby, get the book, darling, and get some of my tips.
If you that's
Get
it.
some of my tips.
I love that.
All right. All right. Let's get back into some more questions. We have, okay, Queen Nzinga said every year, Pantone always
Hmm.
has a color projection. What do you think will be the next hot color trend for 2024?
That's a far
That's a great
ahead.
question.
We're still on 23. Oh wait, 24.
I know, but
Oh
you
no
know
no no
they're
no.
gonna already have the new trends on the runway when we see
Um,
the September shows.
ideally, I will share that with you, but I won't. There is a color. It is out. You can
Mm-hmm.
easily Google it, but I am actually in the middle of designing a collection right now. We are actually using those colors.
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
Okay, okay. So maybe I'll answer this question. I would do like, I feel like there's gonna be something either in the blue
Mm.
family, almost like an electric blue, or an interesting shade of green. I think either one of those may be like a
Yeah, and I
color
think
for
Barbie
2024.
season
Um,
is gonna kind of make a splash on that too. He's gonna
hmm
splatter on it.
hmm
But what about
Yeah. Yes, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. All right. Prajje is such a joy. Hey, Suzette. She said
I see.
Prajje
Thank
is
you. I
such a
am. I'm
joy.
not that mean.
I I I don't feel like you're mean. I feel like you're just spicy and
Yeah.
like, but I like it. I'm like, he feels like almost like the comic relief. when I watch the episodes. It's like, I know that Prajje is going to say something funny. Like when you went and you were like, okay, designers. When you were at Mood, I was like, oh my God. I was just like cracking up. But I loved it. I loved it. I feel like you definitely provide a certain level of comic relief, and that's really
like
awesome.
Last night, somebody messaged me this morning. They were like, "Oh my God, you have to send me a meme or a clip of you saying there's no measurement for crotch and nutsack." And I'm like, "Wait, I said that?" And I had to go back and watch it. I'm like, "Oh, that's what I said."
Oh my gosh! But you know what? It's really true. And it's really true. If it's not on the model card, that's something that's going to change the amount of time or how you're designing or prepping the garment if you don't have that measurement.
When I was thinking I was going to make me a jockstrap, and I started well. And then halfway through it, between not like having the measurement and knowing that I have to go down there, and when Christian said, this is a little small, and I was thinking it already, and I'm like, I don't know. It literally got to the point where it's just like, all right, bro, if your grandmother see you send this man down the runway in a bomber jacket and a G-string, you are going to hell.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So Gracie says, how is Christian as a mentor?
He'll make fun. I know sometimes, again, editing, he looks like whatever people's interpretation, but he's actually really good. Like, he walk up to you, he give you and it's always up to you to use it and how you use it, but I think, not somewhere in the mix of it all. He will tell you exactly the mentor part, and then he'll make a little joke. But if you're not focused enough, you'll focus more on that, and then you won't focus on the note he just gave you. But he's a good mentor. I would say he's a good mentor. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like Fabio gave his all?
I do think so. I think I did agree with the judges, that piece there, once you take the piece out, the whole look changed completely. So I do agree on that part. We don't get to see each other's work until we're sitting there, even though we're sitting right next to each other, because you take a glimpse, but you're not really standing there staring at it because you have your own work to do. But I do think that he did give his all. Some of my favorite looks this season have come from Fabio, starting from the Queen Challenge to the very first challenge.
Yeah, he did that, baby.
That I wanted to have it in a brocade gold and some very crazy fuchsia gay color that will say he's right here, and then the same look. I love the fact that when you take the skirt off, it's a whole suit. Love his look for the first one. Even in the 90s challenge, I did love his vest very much so he has a lot of pieces that I feel like were some of my favorites throughout the season. So yes, I do know that he did give it his all. But it is Prajje Runway. There's a time. Someday you're in and someday you're out. And sometimes it's for a string hanging. Sometimes it really is for a basic button you miss. And sometimes it's for bad design. But I think this season was not just bad design. They put everything in. They were a room of legends, for God's sake. You heard what I said. Like, it really was. So the judging also reflected that too.
Yes. I just want to send love to Fabio, because we know he went home this week. When I say, because I hadn't been back on the show since my season 16, when I walked in, Brittany and Fabio came up to me and they were like, Liris, queen, like, you are a Prajje Runway legend. And they don't understand how much them saying that just made me go, it made me feel a certain level of comfort. And I felt respected in my work that I do, because a lot of times models don't always get the respect that they deserve. We are sometimes treated like hangers. So I really appreciated that, and it confirmed that I made the right decision to come back to do this season. I really came a lot because I decided to come back because the fans for years have been saying, Liris, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? I wish you were back. I wish you were back. And there is nothing like the Project Runway fan base. I sincerely love them. I do. I really love them. They love me. We don't always agree on everything, but I love the Project Runway fan base. They have supported me, loved on me, bought my books, showed up at appearances, showed me so much love. And so for all of you out there, just thank you so much. But yeah, that moment with Brittany and Fabio, it really just put things in perspective, and it made me feel good about my decision about coming back. We got some more questions. Okay, here we go. Queen Nzinga said Louis Vuitton, the African print, Gucci, and the rest all have pattern logos. ID, I guess, like to see a black repeat pattern logo. What would you do as a wearable pattern like logo?
Literally.
Do you have something there that shows it right now in the studio?
There is that. It's in this one. These are collaborations, so it's not the full thing. We broke them apart, but you see it all throughout. It's my pattern. We have it in leather. We emboss it. We have it in fact, like, we are out there. And then both the Louis Vuitton and the Gucci patterns belongs to black people. Just so you know.
Yes. Yes. If you do check the history, it is.
So yeah, I do have mine. I do know quite a few people that I know, black designers, do have their monogram as well. But yeah.
Okay. And people are able to buy your pieces. Do you have a store on
I don't know what happened to my
Instagram?
store on Instagram. We had to dismantle it, and I'm trying to get it back. But you can just go directly to our website, prajjeoscar.com. There's the price right there in my bio.
It's in his bio.
You find everything. Actually, on my website, that's where you find more of the exclusive collection pieces, like the silks, the bomber jackets, those limited edition stuff. And then there is a Bravo store, which we have a lot of drop ship stuff in there, make it accessible. But yeah, you can buy everything you see in here. And this side behind me is the showroom part. So it's served both as a showroom where people can come and pull, but also you can purchase. You can buy everything in here, even my desk if you like.
Oh my gosh. He's like, I'm selling everything but the kitchen sink, y'all. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. All right. Our next question is, let's see. What would you tell someone living in a country wanting to follow their dreams of being a fashion designer? I guess someone living in another country, or what would you tell someone? You're from Haiti, so what would you tell another designer who is watching you on Project Runway and they're somewhere in Haiti, or they're somewhere in Poland or in Ukraine while war is going on, but they found some inspiration from you? What would you say?
That question kind of resonated with my whole entire being, because Prajje Oscar as a brand, that's what you may not like me, I may not say the right thing all the time, but whatever I do it just so somebody can see it and remain focused, to know that there is a little light at the end of the tunnel. I don't think Prajje Runway did a good job telling my story, so there's a lot people don't know. Like, when it comes to my childhood, I grew up in a war zone, you know. Since I was a kid there, and growing up in Haiti, I encountered a government overthrow, an embargo. I had the plague, multiple people died. I was living from different family members, because my family wasn't really there. I watched a lot of dead bodies laying on the street being burned. So fashion was always my escape. When I get to my grandmother's closet, nothing else outside these doors exists anymore. When I go to her farm in the season 19, the part they did tell you that it's me making clothes for corn. There was no time to grab toys. It's not like I didn't have any. There was no time to pack up games to go to grandma's countryside while we're running from the fucking army with a gun trying to kill us. We just had to go. And then when you get there, I'm a kid, so I am gonna be entertained. So I made clothes for the corn because my grandmother was a farmer. They were everywhere. Like that was how I went. So there is always a little something about fashion that always brought me back. So for that person and the perspective I'm seeing it, if that's your reality, or even if you're in Poland where it's like, what is it? Is it snow all the time, right? I don't know. Please don't judge me. But wherever you are, if the fashion is what you want to do, make it become your support system, if that makes sense. The more you let it be kind of like your guide, you will want to learn more about fashion. You will want to create more fashion things. You want to find someone to look up to. When I came to the US, immediately mine was Andre Leontali. Our stories were kind of written in two different inks, but it was raised by grandmother, little blue suit. I remember my grandmother taking me to church in a little blue suit and white tie. That's how it was. So there was something there. So I watched him to be this icon that was different than them, but he walked into the room, he's sucking all the stardom, energy, everything everybody else had to offer in the room because he's Andre Leontali. And that was inspiring to me alone to just be bold. And he did tell me to grow up some skin. That's a whole other story. Prajje was born that day, for the record. But yeah, make fashion your thing, but at the same time, make it in a way where you are learning about it, you are practicing your craft, learn new things, make new friends. If you live in a neighborhood where my grandmother always said misery love company, so is wealth. So because of that, she sent me to a school where the rich kids went to school. I was poor living in the ghetto, going to school with the rich kids. She will force me to go hang around with them on weekends because she wanted me to be exposed to that kind of crowd of people if I ever wanted to leave poverty. So because it's that, and it did work. I have great friends now. I can call friends from Harvard to HBCU, college to London to Paris, and it's not because I was born in wealth. It was because the person that raised me pushed me to think more, knowing that fashion was that anchor that kept me from the streets. So if that is your anchor, stay on to it. But while you're on it, learn it, master the craft. If it's the handbags that you want to do, master the handbag. Figure out a way to make yourself different. I did design since I was 13. I traveled to Africa, all of that stuff. But I got to a show at Lagos, Nigeria, and oh yes, and then the editors they were from UK, and they were like, "Honey, your work is great, but we don't know what we're looking at. You have 7 different collections happening at once." And I was like, huh. And then at that moment, the question of who Prajje was came about. And I made that edit right there. And then to me, it clicked. I was like, who the fuck is Prajje? Like, Louis Vuitton is Louis Vuitton, Chanel is Chanel, but who is Prajje? And then that started to become my thing. And that's when I was 30. Around that time, I've been designing for a good 10 years plus. And I ended up going back to Haiti for the first time since I left, since I was a kid. And instantly, the connection was made again. It's like watching Avatar when they connect their hair with the dinosaur thing. It was a moment like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's Prajje Oscar. That's what it is. It was about the Haitian legacy, the art, the people that I left behind. I was a kid growing up here. I wasn't worried about what was happening back home. But when I went into it, I was like, oh my God, this is where I came from, and this is still happening today. And in that moment, Prajje Oscar became the voice of the people, not necessarily Haitian. It's the people. If you cannot speak, you saw it in episode 2 of season 19. He's not. He wasn't Haitian. We look two different ways, but at the time, what's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. My grandmother always told me, it's either you're part of the solution or you're part of the problem, and that's how I was raised, and that's all because of fashion. That was the only thing I actually had. It was my anchor. So I don't know if I answered it, but all I'm saying is at the end of the day, if you're living in a hard place, hang on to it. It's worked for me.
I love it. You dropped quite a few gems. And I would also say just get around people who are doing things that you love, or just start. I think a lot of people, their problem is just starting. So thread that needle. If you got to do it by hand, get them scissors out and just start creating. And it may be horrible at first, but guess what?
I
At
did my first
least you
collection.
started, and you start to learn through that
I did my
process
first.
of just trying.
Yeah,
A
I
lot of
did.
people
Talk
just need
about
to
starting. I
start.
did my first collection in my art class with $25 budget. Some of it was horrible,
Wow.
horrible. Like I didn't even know how to use a
Mm-hmm.
machine. I just
Mm-hmm.
got out of Haiti a few years, and
Mm-hmm.
like I'm now like, oh, fashion is a thing. I can horrible. But I did do a beautiful collection inspired with Indiari's song Brown Skin. It was all brown and gold and burgundy. And I showed it at a huge pep rally at Regina in high school. I was only from high school. I just started. Just lay the first round, the first break. Just do it. Just start it. Yeah.
Wow. That's inspiring. I love that. I love that. Let me see. Kim Birdie, Liris, you slay
Always.
every time. Thank you very much. Um, Beck, this is truly the best season yet. Aw.
I have to
Let me
agree.
see. I look, I want to say this is a great season. It's a great wealth of designers as well as
Mhm.
models on this season. It's good. Um, this question was, what has been both your favorite moments of this season so far? I'm going to say my favorite moment, even though I wish I was there for this challenge, I wasn't there, was for the royalty challenge, and it was Prajje and Kato's design. I thought it was beautiful, it was royal, it was unexpected, it gave a different look
Mhm.
of what royalty looks like. Um, the colors that were used,
Mhm.
it was just so unique, and I thought it
Yeah.
was a moment to learn and a moment to have a different point of view. So
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite moments. I also appreciated the moment with me and Rami on stage when I was wearing his design for the unconventional challenge, and he was literally he was taken back to a memory of growing up
Mhm.
in Palestine, I believe it is. And you know what it meant to see those kites in the sky. So to just feel his heart, I literally could feel his heart,
Yeah,
and I
now
just
go.
wanted to take him and hug him during that episode. But I ended up rubbing his back, and then when I came back the next episode, I went into the workroom and I went up to him and I said, I just wanted to give you a hug because I just wanted to let you know that like I saw you, I felt you, and I just wanted to make sure that you're okay. And he remembered that, and he thanked me then, but he also thanked me again later, like on Twitter, and was like, you were so kind to do that. But that's because it's like I really believe we are humans having a real human experience. And I don't think he even knew he was
Yeah.
probably going to get that choked up in that
You
moment
really
when
don't
he
know what's
did,
going to
you know?
happen. There's not a menu. There's not cue cards there. Like you can literally pick your pants right there and then. Like you wouldn't even know you did it because at that moment it's so scary being up there. I hope you guys understand that. It's
Mm-hmm.
terrifying.
Mm-hmm. All right. Someone asked, would you have a showroom in
Well,
New
I lived in
York?
New York for 10 years. All I did was spend my money in New York. I love her. She's my wife still. We never got a divorce, but we had a long separation. I'm gonna remain separated for a while. So the answer is no. New York rent is crazy. Oh my God.
It
I
is.
have
Look.
matured when it comes to building this brand. It took me a while to stop being an artist and think I was a businessman. And I think moving to
Mhm.
Philly, I love Philly as a city. It was a personal thing for me, but I think business strategy. It works for me. It's a lot cheaper to build my business here than in New York. My God, it cost me, you know how much money it would have cost me for this space in New York? Oh my God, no. I love New
Look,
York.
look. You can get a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich here. You gonna spend about $10. Like that's what I
Like
try
you
to
don't
tell
like,
people.
but you know,
It's a
a
lot of
good
money
thing
to live
is
in New
into
York.
that, and for those who's about to make that leap into New York, if New York is where you want to live, go ahead. I would never tell nobody not to live in New York because I love New York. I'm a New Yorker. Like I do.
I do
But
too.
you don't have to live in New York to benefit the, you know, the things New York have to offer. You know, you really don't.
Hmm.
You can be, especially now with the age of social media and internet, you don't have to. I have clients in New York. All my clients in New York still remain my clients in New York. My fabric suppliers, actually, I'm going to New York tomorrow morning. Like it's right there,
Hmm.
but I have to be, you know, I have to be responsible. I have a baby, and I'm like, we're gonna have one showroom, honey. You
Wait
know,
a
I
minute.
do have a
How old is
daughter.
this
She's 6.
baby? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
my
I didn't
little nugget.
know.
She's 6.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm sorry, y'all. My allergies and my eyes have been
Oh,
had my eyes watering so bad this week. I think it's because of that like smoke from Canada. Like, because a
like
lot of people, their
yeah.
eyes have just been like bugging out, and mine have been like on a rampage the past week. Oh my gosh. Okay, someone said Kim. She said Prajje should write an
I am
autobiography. You have so
actually,
much to tell.
my therapist told me it's time that I do write that chapter so I can close it to move on. Um, Even
Hmm.
though I have moved on to a sense where I'm an adult now, I can be dwelling on what happened to me when I was a kid, but at the same time, it's still there. So yeah, I am in the process of that. If there are any ghostwriters out there, I'm not writing it. That's the problem. If there are any, it's just like I just can't. You know what's interesting? Project Runway was my place to actually write in a diary, but you know, I just decided not to, and I'm
Hmm.
sure people can make up to why that is. I didn't, but
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I am
Everybody's
looking
different.
for a ghostwriter
Everybody.
so we can get that first book, and it is ending actually at Project Runway for season 19, and then the new chapter of my life
Hmm.
begins there because I feel like that's kind of when I really started to really mature into not just a designer, but into more taking care of myself. But I honestly think it's a pandemic. To be quite honest with you, because they happened
Hmm.
right around the same time, and going through the pandemic, I picked up running. I run 3 miles every morning, like me. So a lot of things began. So
Hmm.
I feel like there is a new version of me coming. I feel like I'm more beautiful. My skin glows even more. Like I look more mature. I don't look like a 12-year-old boy, even though people still think I'm 25, but I'll take 25 over 12 now. So there is a shift. And I think that's where the story began to
Hmm.
the whatever is going to happen for the rest of my life. And then whatever is before needs to be written now, to that point.
I love it. Awesome. All right. I think we just got a couple more
Oh,
questions and then we are
Tiana
done.
Taylor, Rihanna, Beyonce,
Right.
Little Nas X. Like you keep going. There are a lot of them. I will make a custom piece for you. Just call me. I'm ready. Chris Brown. What?
Okay. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to ask some questions that I
Okay.
have, and then we're going to close this out. Okay. All right. So my first one is, what is one designer that you would team up with to do a big? If you could only choose one designer from this season to team up with to do a like, let's say they had for the, usually at the end they have 3 or 4 designers who show collections. What if they had you do it in groups of
It would
2 though?
definitely be
Who
my
would be your
sister.
partner?
What? It's not even a question. It will have to be Bitch Me. Are you serious? Oh my God. Bitch Me
I think that
all
would be a
day. And then
hot
that's
collection.
another thing too. I'm like, at this point in the competition, you should see how silly Bitch Me and I are in that room. And I feel like they don't show it enough. Like Like,
Oh,
do you remember,
I
like literally
do.
you couldn't get the two of us to shut up. Once we got our work to where we needed to be, oh honey, it was a comedy show from each side. When Carter say I'm in the east and the west, it's a little crowd. I live right in the middle. So okay. It was incredible. Of course, Vishmi. What? Yeah, hands down.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So my next question would be, who is your
Nina
favorite judge
Garcia
and
always
why?
has been. As a working
Mm-hmm.
designer before Project Runway, Nina Garcia is one of the people that I've always trying to get her attention. I followed her for years
Mm-hmm.
and I've had some critique without knowing she was critiquing my work. I've gotten, published in those magazines. So it would have to be her because I feel like when you're talking about fashion in the sense of the fashion industry and someone who is somewhat of a different background, so there is a level of fairness to
Mm-hmm.
her perspective. I like. It's always
Mm-hmm.
been right for me. Like it's always been Nina Garcia. I love like even when she's like Nina Garcia is scary. Like she's that mother when she looked at me, I'm like, oh my God. Like that. But I'm telling you that she's the one that oh yeah.
And she's
Oh, she
really
is
beautiful.
gorgeous. And this season
Mm-hmm. Like in
very
person,
stunning.
she's
And this
actually
season, I was
very
so happy
stunning.
she wore so many colors. Like it was beautiful to see her. It's like fine wine. But in terms of like a fashion person,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of judging my work, I feel like Nina understood me more. And she understood the things that
Mm-hmm.
I did and why I did them more than the other judges.
Got it. Got it. All right. So if you could have any guest judge on this season,
Any
who
guest
would it be?
judge? Listen, we ask for Beyonce every day. We wanted the queen to show up. You know what? Honestly, if I were to have any guest judge, dead or alive, it would have to be Andre Leon Talley. That's one of the things that I will always say that it's one of my regrets that
Mm-hmm.
as a designer that I didn't get a chance to have him review my work. Because I think that's it, whether it
Mm-hmm.
was good or bad, I would have cherished it. The same way I cherished meeting him the first time. I mean, I feel like there should have been around
Mm-hmm.
two of us meeting again. Then this time is to see my actual work. But yeah.
Nice. Nice. I would
Mm,
say Rihanna, Naomi
mother.
Campbell, yes, and of course the queen of them all, Miss Lyris Cross.
That's right.
I
I think
think
you
I
would
would
make
make an
an incredible
amazing
guest
guest
judge, and I
judge.
think you'll make an incredible host to the show too. We are still looking for a host.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Um, okay. Let's see. I think someone already asked you that one. Let's see. Yeah, because my other question was, what was your favorite design you've
Yeah,
made
it
so
was
far this
it was
season?
a unconventional one, and it was because of what it meant for me. Just like you said, at that moment, I was a kid. It was weird. I was a kid
Mm-hmm.
creating something that I need to impress some judges, sell it, make it me. Like what's happening in your brain right now. And at the time, that's what was happening in my brain. There was music, there was children because my kid is in Haiti. And every single piece of that look was literally emotion that I was feeling at the same time, like in that look. Okay, so it was my favorite look. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, cartels. Cartels is for a different reason. I feel like at that moment was
Mm-hmm.
already written, and that's how I see it because I know Cartel since I was in college. Watching her first show, I
Mm-hmm.
actually went to her show in New York. After that, I started producing for Boston Fashion Week, and I used to invite Cartel to come in as a head, leading designer, and then to be sitting in the same room with
Mm-hmm.
her, designing in the same competition was just like, ooh. And then we were in a group to create something that represents
Mm-hmm.
us. I was like, oh no, it was already written because it
Mm-hmm.
was not, there was no question about it. We just went to the drawing board. It was clean. This is boom, boom, boom. And we went boom, boom, boom. We went, and then the look. It was like natural that flowed out of us. So I feel like that moment, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
moment, that moment was the moment for me in that sense because it was just like, wow.
Okay. All right, and I'm going to end it with one last question, and it's kind of similar to something someone is asking. What's one challenge that you feel as though would be a good challenge for the next season of
You
Project
know,
Runway?
I hope I'm not in it. It's a challenge when you literally switch work. Like I was designing for you, and then Bishop was designing for Luce, and then the next Christian walked into the room like, all right, designer, you're gonna have to give up your work now. You have to finish his work. I just want to see what that would be like. So we just switched.
Oh wow, that would be
Bridal challenge.
interesting.
Bridal challenge would be nice,
That
but
would
I mean,
be
people would still be like, I'm not getting married at that, but that would be very much like, wait, what?
mhm. It's interesting. I would love to see. Someone said this in one of the Project Runway Facebook groups. They said it would be interesting to see Christian do one of the challenges with you all and secretly, like, you know how they have us models without telling you all who's the designer, and see if his made like the bottom or the
Oh,
top, or if it was safe.
that would
I
be
was like,
interesting.
that would be interesting. I was like,
He
but
would
I
not
don't
be
think
up
he
for
would be
critique.
up
I
for
definitely
critique.
Christian would be like, wait, what, me? No. He would not be up for critique. But before I went in the show, when they say all stars, I was like, oh crap, Christian's gonna be there. I thought he was gonna be one of the contestants. I'm like, I mean, he said all star.
Oh my
Wow, that would
gosh,
have been
that would have been
wild.
wild. No, I don't think he would do it. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it from that point of view. All right, and someone else said a maternity
A
challenge. I think
carnival
that would be
costume
good.
challenge. I mean, the people are barely trying to be black with the people they have now. Anyone that's in a carnival costume, they're not doing that. No, carnival
What,
costume.
maternity? Oh no! Oh,
It would
carnival
be great, but they're
would be
not.
great, but they probably.
That's extra black.
So anyway, with that said, closing this out, Prajje,
Oh.
please tell everyone again how they can keep up with you on social media, and tell them about your different products that you have available.
Um,
Just give us a
you
quick
know, we
rundown.
have our collections and we have ready to wear streetwear on our website, prajjeoscar.com. Really soon, something big's about to happen with a large group of us. So stay tuned for
Yes.
that. That's another thing that's also happening. And pretty much I'm on social media. I'm not usually on there, but we will get back to you. We appreciate our fans and our customers and everything. So we're trying to really communicate with you. But prajjeoscar.com, you'll find everything you need. All my communication is in one channel. We have from scarves, silk scarves, custom Telfa painted bag, which is becoming a thing now. Like my whole studio is full of Telfa bags.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I don't get sued. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God. And we have,
Mm-hmm.
from wedding to evening dresses to beautiful tailoring. I design as a lifestyle, so you'll find from swimsuit to a haute couture dress, like sitting behind me right now. So that's kind of how the house is built. So you find all you need, always hot, always on point, always for the people and by the people.
I love it. Love it. Love it. And as always, if you are a follower of Prajje, but you're not following me, make sure you follow me at LIRISC, or you can hit that top button on the chat where you see the arrow pointing down, and you'll be able to click on my profile. Also, make sure you get a copy of my book. It doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your size, your sexuality. This is a book that will renew your mindset and push you forward. So 2023, you don't have to wait till 2024 to claim your year. You read this book, you're going to be claiming
Yeah.
2023 is your year, and you're going to be moving forward,
Yeah.
being the best you that you can be. This book is called Make the World Your Runway. It's available on Amazon. The foreword is written by Tim Gunn, and it's top model secrets for everyday confidence and success. It is sold on Amazon, or you can click the link in my bio.
Before,
And with that said,
before you
thank you
leave,
so much, Prajje, for being here.
will you be walking my show in September? Because I hated the fact that I never get to work with you. Every time I walk by you, I say that.
Oh my God. I would be honored.
There's
Please
a sketch
let me
on
know.
that board that have your name on it.
Woo! Yes, I want to do all the shows, darling. Because I'm on my next episode. Actually, this coming week is my last episode for this season, you all. So, unfortunately, I only did 4 episodes, but it is what it is, honey. Because Mama stays booked, and she gonna stay on the runway.
I already have you. There's a list of my gorgeous queens, and you are on that list. First, I just needed to ask. I thought this would be a nice place to ask.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, with that said, if nobody's told you today that they love you, I love you. God loves you. Have an awesome day. And thank God it's Friday.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, y'all. Make sure that you're following me on Twitter and Instagram at LirisC. That's LIRISC. Also, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, you can find me at Liris Cross Backup Page. And Liris Cross. I have 2 pages. One page I'm blocked from, but I'm still able to see and use it. So just follow me on Facebook too. All right, see you there. Make the World Your Runway is now available worldwide on Amazon.com. And the foreword is written by Tim Gunn of Project Runway. And it's top model secrets for everyday confidence and success. When I was on Project Runway, people said, I love your confidence. I wish I could bottle it up. Well, guess what? I can't put myself in a bottle, but I did put it in this book. Your confidence is needed for everything that we do in life, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in business. And I'm also known for my motivational posts as well as my modeling work. And I thought, why not bring the best of both worlds together? I took principles for how I prepare for the runway, and I'm giving it to you so you can use it on the runway of life every day. Get a copy for you, your mama, and your